The year was 1979. Disco was dying, hair was big, and two Canadian dudes sat down to play a game of Scrabble. But when they noticed that a few of their Scrabble tiles were missing, they didn't cry into their maple syrup. Instead, they said,
"Hey, what if we invented a whole new game?
It can be about trivia.
And we'll pursue it."
So they mortgaged their houses, spent a couple years testing questions on friends, and created one of the best-selling board games of all time, Trivial Pursuit.
Because every American is entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of trivia.
It's pretty amazing when you realize that it all really started with one simple question.
Hey, wouldn't it be fun to know weird stuff?
And come to think of it, that's exactly what we're doing here at Always Wondered. Carrying on that noble Trivial Pursuit tradition, only without the tiny pie pieces that never seem to fit back in the holder. So buckle up, it is time to chase down that weird wedge of knowledge. Welcome to the podcast that answers some of the questions you've always wondered about.
It's the Always Wondered podcast.
Hi, I'm Rick Peterson. Thanks for joining us. It is the eternal condiment conundrum.
It's Catsup.
No, it's Ketchup.
The red sauce civil war that has sparked endless kitchen table debates.
I'm telling you, it's Catsup.
And I'm telling you, it's Ketchup.
The goop we love, but surprisingly goes by two different names.
For the last time, it's Catsup.
Read my lips, it's Ketchup.
So have you always wondered, is it ketchup or catsup? Now we're talking about the same stuff here. Whether you prefer the challenge of getting sauce out of a classic glass bottle,
It's not a condiment. It's a workout.
the everyday workhorse of the squeezable bottle,
That's the sound of convenience.
or the plastic and foil packets that pretend fine dining involves tearing open your condiment container in a parking lot with your teeth. The truth is, both ketchup and catsup come from the same word. Back in the 17th century, British traders stumbled upon a sauce in Southeast Asia called Ketchup, or something close to that. It was a Chinese fermented fish sauce.
Gross!
Well, the British brought that delicacy back to Europe, but couldn't quite recreate the original. So over time, they kind of winged it. Sometimes with mushrooms, sometimes with walnuts, but the version that stuck was with tomatoes.
Excuse me, we prefer tomatoes.
Whatever. By the 1800s, that sweet, tangy sauce was being described as both catsup and ketchup. But the tipping point came in 1876, when the Heinz Company, yep, that Heinz, they went all in on the word ketchup to stand out on the store shelves. Well, Heinz won the branding war, and catsup slowly faded into retro diner obscurity. Today, it's kind of like the rotary phone of condiments. Charming, but nobody's really dialing it. So whether you say ketchup
It's Catsup.
or catsup,
No, it's Ketchup.
it's the same delicious condiment we love to use on our French fried potatoes.
Excuse me, we prefer potatoes.
Of course you do.
The Always Wondered podcast.
On the list of bad luck omens, this one is at the top of the charts. So have you always wondered why breaking a mirror gives you 7 years bad luck?
7 years? That's like a full cell phone contract.
We start in ancient Rome, where they believed that mirrors held your soul.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, from this day henceforth a mirror shall be known as your spiritual selfie.
So the logic went like this. If you shattered your reflection, you shattered a part of yourself. And it would take 7 years, the length of time the Romans believed your body and soul needed to renew before your luck would return.
7 years to refresh? That's like waiting for my phone's iOS to finally stop updating.
Fast forward to the Renaissance, and mirrors were super fancy and super expensive. So if you broke one,
That'll cost you 7 years of wages, you fool.
I guess then the bad luck might have just been being broke. But here's a twist. Some people did have mirror repair tricks. If you went out late at night, buried the pieces under the moonlight, your luck would return.
Sure, try explaining that to my HOA.
Over time, that mix of ancient soul science, Roman time math, and medieval guilt kind of became a 7 years of bad luck superstition cocktail. So if you ever do break a mirror, do not panic. You have not cursed yourself for 7 years. Except, of course, if you walk around barefoot near the shards.
It's the Always Wondered podcast.
It's time now to dive into a phrase that has seasoned our conversations for centuries.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Now, you know what it means. Someone tells you something that may not be totally believable, and they'll add on the disclaimer,
But take it with a grain of salt.
So have you always wondered the origin of the phrase, take it with a grain of salt? I mean, was it culinary advice? Maybe an electrolyte replacement plan? For the answer, we once again travel back to ancient Rome.
Wait, weren't we just there?
Yeah, we were.
I thought so.
I swear, I think the Romans had an entire department devoted to messing with our future lives.
Sounds like it.
But the one thing we do know about those Romans, it seemed they loved to poison people. It was kind of like their national pastime.
Hey, you want to go to the chariot races this weekend? No, can do. I'm totally swamped. I already have 2 poisonings booked.
And this is where we meet up with Pliny the Elder, Roman author, naturalist, and professional guy who had way too many opinions about everything.
Kind of like that know-it-all Steve from accounting.
Pretty much so, yeah. Now, I don't want to veer too far off here, but this guy Pliny was like the OG influencer. He would spout all this crazy stuff and would still have subscribers. Anyway, back to our story. Pliny wrote about a miraculous antidote for poison, and that included, you guessed it, a single grain of salt.
To neutralize any poison, I declare, take it with a grain of salt.
Needless to say, Pliny's grain of salt recipe didn't really stop hemlock, or arsenic, or cyanide, or any of the other countless toxins that got slipped into food or drink back in the day. But that's how it all started. Really sketchy medical advice from a blowhard Roman. Now move ahead a millennium or two, and people had long since wised up to Pliny's health tips, but the phrase endured. Only now we're using a grain of salt to survive poison of a totally different variety, bad gossip. So today, when you hear,
my cousin's friend's neighbor says pigeons are actually drones that recharge on power lines.
Somebody told me Elon Musk is going to buy the moon and rename it Luna 2.0.
Janice says her Roomba fell in love with her air fryer.
You know what to do. Just remember Pliny the Elder and take it with a grain of salt.
Derek says he's 1/16th mermaid, so he can't really stay above sea level for very long.
Or maybe use the whole shaker.
The Always Wondered podcast.
Well, that is going to put the wraps on another episode of Always Wondered. Remember, new episodes come out each and every Friday. And in between times, you can visit us on Facebook.com/AlwaysWondered to see what we have coming up. We've also got links there to weird little videos of some of our topics on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. So check those out too. We're kind of like a faucet of fun facts that someone just forgot to turn off. All right. As always, we leave you with one to ponder. Have you always wondered why phonics is spelled with a PH? Kind of defeats the whole purpose, doesn't it? So until next time, stay curious and keep wondering. I'm Rick Peterson. Thanks for listening.
The Always Wondered podcast. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and a review. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you pod. Feel free to offer suggestions for future topics or simply reach out to alwayswonderedpodcast@gmail.com.